Welcome to the Everyday Magic Podcast. I'm Anya Rock.
And I'm Dr. Sophia Trivena.
We've been best friends for 25 years, united by the belief that no matter what life throws at us, we can always find the magic. Join us every week as we dive into our most intimate conversations about sex, money, intuition, and building our company, Sofanya, a merger of our names and the best of us.
Hi. So good to be together.
This is so exciting.
First time with four goddesses together.
A lot of powerful energy right here in this circle.
Yeah, it's really vibrating. And I was just saying how excited I am because Anya met you two before me. So I would love for you to talk about how you.
Yeah. I mean, Rebecca, I feel like everybody that I have in my life is 2 degrees separate. I'm like, oh, I met you through Rebecca. Like you are
all roads
such a masterful connector. Yes. And I have so many, incredible people in my circle that I've met through you. And I remember the day we got on FaceTime to talk about working together and we just instantly fell in love. I was like, seven, Enneagrams. Yeah. And working with you in the mastermind and really sort of stepping into my visibility. That was really the kickoff. And then having watched you grow and meeting Katie in the mastermind only by Zoom. So this is our first actual in real life. It's such a treat.
Yes. A real life meet cute. We get to all see each other after many moments on Zoom and overlaps in different capacities. It's cool.
And in that time, and then Sophia was able to go to one of your events. I'm like,
so I remember, I think it's called Slumber.
It was called Slumber. And you went to the first one.
Yes.
So Anya went to the first one and she told me about it whenever that was. And I just was like, that name, who came up with that name? I want to meet her. That was just so amazing. And then when I found out there was one happening in the area that I was in with clients, I take clients on intimacy couples retreats in really luxurious places. So I was at the Ritz-Carlton at the Half Moon Bay and the day it was ending was right when you were starting.
Our first day.
So
not even an hour apart.
Right. So I literally took an Uber directly from that to your place. I was like, it's lining up too much. I need to go there.
Yes.
And I remember walking into your space and the first thing I thought, because it's your home, I was like, this home. And then I found out you designed it. And I was like instantly in love. And then we sat down and instantly the angels came to us and I started doing channeling.
Wild.
For you, with you, because you're just as intuitive and you were getting tapped in your way. And then it was just like, we started talking about traveling together. We started, what are we going to do together?
We're going to Egypt, you're coming to visit me in Sicily.
Absolutely. We're going to sacred sites together to get more downloads like this. And that was like, we're 10 minutes in.
Well, and you asked me something that a lot of people don't, which is you commented not just on the design of the house, but something I don't share with a lot of people is before we ever started designing it, we first we're like, what energy do we want to bring into this house? What is our intention?
You had an intention,
yeah. And it was openness, connection, and light, which I feel like is really like the through line of like energy outside of like the entrepreneurial space, which is part of that, but of like what I want in my life. And I want connection, as you said, community building, the power of women together, openness and very transparent and direct, and light. It's always about how can we have more light, which we're in a time that needs it. And a lot of light is required.
And I think I said to you, this is so open and there's so much light. It's such a great place to connect. Like I think I said all of those words. Like I felt the intention.
You said everything before I think I even told the story.
Absolutely.
So you felt it.
Yeah, it was instant love. And you were launching PitchWell at the time. I feel like I was at the beginning of that. So Anya got to do the mastermind with you. And so she was in that earlier iteration of your offerings. And then this new offering was emerging and I dove right into it.
And what's so wild is that the first Slumber party, the idea had came up like a week earlier. I think I just talked to Katie about it because I was like, I'm not going to do this without Katie. And I was telling the first Slumber party, I was like, this is my idea. But it was before we had wireframe, developed anything. And you came in right as we were really demoing the product, the built product.
And my mind was blown. And there was 20 women sitting in your living room as part of this experience. And a bunch of them were chiming in, you got me on a podcast 7 years ago and I still get clients regularly from that, et cetera. And everyone had all these glowing reviews of the experience of what you do for them. And then to see that you had used technology to create a way to do that doesn't require you all the time and that people were getting similar results. I was just like, well, who is this woman?
Oh,
It was amazing. And I've loved using PitchWell. Me and my assistant both go in there and do pitches all the time. And
your mind is going to be blown. We have a new feature coming out probably in a week or so.
Hopefully that's the timeline.
it will like 10x what you've been able to do so far.
Amazing.
Yes.
So this is incredible. So we're co-founders and friends, and here we have co-founders. This is
co-founders and friends.
Yes.
And you said a couple of minutes ago, like, I knew I wasn't going to do it without Katie.
Yes.
So share a bit about that. Like,
Well, I'll tell a little bit about our mute.
I didn't actually know you were friends before you were co-founders. So tell us everything.
I mean, we've been working together now for almost 4.5 years. Yeah, close. I guess over
It'll
4.5
be 5 years this year.
Did you just decide you're both so beautiful, you just have to do everything together?
She's also an Enneagram 7, of course.
Our skills very much complement each other.
Well, you have to have a brunette and a blonde together. It just is the only way.
I used to be blonde, and then I moved to the north of Spain where it rains, and so my blonde got washed out with the rain.
Well, we actually lived across the street from each other and didn't know each other.
Like, love this.
And well, you were in college during that time,
so I wasn't really around as much.
No. Yeah. But it was like June of 2020, so obviously life was very bizarre, and we got an invite to come to a graduation ceremony in the front yard across the street. And she was doing the commencement for her twin brothers and I think 2 of their friends,
a couple of their friends. Yes.
And I was like, who is this very well-spoken, like very composed young woman? And anyway, I think we briefly met, but then a year later when my husband and I had an exit for a company that he founded, and Katie got a +1 with her brother who was an intern there. Well, you can share that part.
Yeah. So Joey, at that little commencement party,
Your brother's
right?
name is Joey?
My little brother's name is Joey.
My brother too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he was on the other side from a motorcycle accident 10 years ago, so that feels very touching to me.
Yes.
To hear. Yeah.
Wonderful humans.
And he's here with us, obviously.
Yes. Oh, that's so interesting.
So sweet. Yeah. So
It's
your
a
brother
lovely
Joey,
name.
I love this.
Joey is a wonderful, wonderful kid. So at this commencement party, essentially, they showed up in their little robes. We got them all Amazon robes for the commencement, and Egino and Rebecca came over. And so Joey and Egino were talking, and Rebecca and I were talking, and Egino ended up hiring my little brother because he was doing engineering at UCLA. And so it worked very well for the startup. And then, Joey actually ended up interning there several years, had a really great experience. And my mom actually was the one who was sort of pushing me. She was like, you should really talk to Rebecca, because I was working in marketing. I was finishing my undergrad degree, but I was already working at a fintech in Boston, and I was leading the marketing and the strategy. And my mom was saying, you should really talk to Rebecca. She's doing really interesting things with visibility, all women-owned brands and founders and thought leaders. And so it was my mom who put Rebecca back on my radar. And then it was Joey with the party. I was like, I'm your +1. I hope you have no interest in bringing anybody else to this party, because I want to come so I can talk to Rebecca. And that's actually how we got officially connected. But it was several weeks before I was moving to Spain.
She was doing a Fulbright. She is a very bright woman.
She is.
And I was like, wait, you're obviously, like, you're well-spoken, you're interesting, educated, and about to move to Spain. And I was like, when you get settled in over there, reach out. And she ended up working part-time while she was doing her Fulbright, and then full-time while she did a master's over in Spain after her Fulbright. And at that time, I was always really passionate about, what we say now, democratizing access to visibility, specifically for women.
Love this.
Yes, for women.
When
for
you talked about it,
voices.
that blew me away, because I'm not from this world. I'm a scientist and an academic, and so I've been a business leader for years, and not in America, not in mainland America. So when you guys talked about these words, I'd never even heard visibility, but then you talked about it at your retreat in a way that I was like, oh, I understand this. This is connection. You explained it by as connection.
Well, and we will come back to like how we pitch each other, but what this really is, yes, I say visibility, credibility, and like how that leads to growth, profitability. But what it really is at a core level that allows visibility to be really impactful is it's about being seen and heard and valued. It is a core human need, right? And it is a need that women, we could get into Mary Magdalene and, all of the things and Thecla, but it is a need that women and, marginalized voices have been constricted for years. And so I was like, I want to help women. My degree was in journalism, but my corporate background was sales and marketing. And I was really passionate about like, how do we help more women be seen, heard, and valued? And I was teaching that because maybe it's my 7, maybe it's that I'm an Aquarius. I'm very anti-gatekeeper. I'm like, everyone should have access. And I found when I had left corporate and went into entrepreneurship and looked at PR agencies, it wasn't that I don't think PR agencies are bad either. I own an agency. Right? Obviously. However, what my issue was is one, they didn't understand sales and growth. And so I'm like, you're throwing money that they aren't being strategic. And the second thing was it was not transparent. And I'd interviewed multiple agencies and I was like, there's such a lack of transparency on what they're doing, who they're contacting. They, preserve their contacts, all of these things. And so I was teaching women, I did it for myself and I started teaching women like DIY, we'll call it DIY PR, like how you can do this on your own. And again, it doesn't mean for certain businesses, like yes, paying for PR makes sense. So you can stay in your zone of genius. However, there's a lot of small businesses that with a little bit of visibility, a little bit of credibility, it shortens the sales cycle. It creates differentiation. It builds confidence. Not that we shouldn't need that validation, but I always say like PR is like, it's like Glinda the Good Witch says to Dorothy, like you had the power all along, but she needed someone to tell her that.
I don't want to say that you look like Glinda the Good Witch, but you do.
Thank you.
And also
the purple light reflecting behind me, right?
The flip the hair.
In today's world, like as soon as we meet someone, we Google them, right?
Of course.
And, or at least I do. And we said,
ChatGPT or
well, but it's like,
spirit guides, but
right.
We Google. And so it is really where, and I didn't understand that before we, I came into the world of like PR and visibility and understanding that
positioning.
You want to position yourself and understanding when you go to someone's website and it says like all those places they've been seen, it's not just because they're the most popular, it's because they've put work into that. They've really invested in having publications and media see them and amplify their voice.
100%. And that's what we saw is like the differentiation, again, the shortened sales cycles, that, whether conscious or subconscious, like, we've worked with early stage startups. We have, that it helped them raise capital because people are like, oh, they look more credible or they have media. So they're in momentum. There is a need in the market. But I'd been doing that for years. And when I hired Katie, I was like, while I love visibility, I really love business strategy that is visibility fueled. But Katie really built out, I would say, the day-to-day of the agency. Because I was teaching everyone, they're like, this is great. And I don't want to do it for myself.
I was like,
me stick to my
great idea.
Yes,
exactly. But no.
It's like, there's only so much of me.
Yes.
Which we all come to, right?
Right.
As business leaders.
So Katie has been running the agency for like the last 4 years. And I say like, she's much better at PR than I am because I did enough to get started, but she is really the one that like took it from like excellence to mastery. And so when the idea came up for PitchWell, which maybe you should share that story, but how it came up, I talked to my husband and it was not convenient timing to start a startup. It was the wrong timing. No, it never is. But I knew, I was like, this is the time.
Yeah.
It is not outwardly, it does not look good, but this is the right time. And I had never felt more excited about an idea. I was like, everything has brought me to this point. The world needs this right now. AI is making it possible. And AI is making it possible. However, the human voice never should be replaced. But we can reduce the tension and AI can support the human to show up in their genius. And I literally was like, I don't want to do it on my own. Like, I don't need the ego boost of being a solo founder. And so
it's tough.
I was
it's so powerful.
Is there an ego boost with being a solo?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. But
I mean, listen, good founders, and my husband included, like he did an ag tech and his founder is a woman. I mean, his co-founder is a woman.
Yeah.
And I also, and I think I've told you this, but I'm in my mid-40s with 2 children. We're supposed to be on sabbatical right now. And I was like, I know what this takes to be successful. If I do this, it's already going to involve sacrifice with my family. Trying to do this on my own, even with a team, I'm not willing to do that.
And it's so much more fun.
It's so much more fun.
We have so much fun.
Did Katie inspire the partnership or did the need for partnership inspire reaching out to Katie?
Some very interesting
questions. Ooh.
It's like a chicken and egg.
Well, I already knew
you're already so close.
I wouldn't have had the agency if it weren't for Katie. Like I had told her when she started, I said, I know we need to build an agency because the demand for it within our clients is so great, but I do not have the bandwidth or really the desire to do it. So she really, we worked together on it, but the last 2 years, like I will jump on a call occasionally to build a strategy out or to like understand what are their products, their offers, et cetera. Like I am definitely really good on that side. But then I don't even jump on calls typically monthly because Katie just understands that she's got it.
So you might have had, if she didn't exist, you might have had that idea and go, can't, kids, too much, and just put it aside. But you're like, the idea is there and she's there.
So the actual, we can share the story here, is the very first Slumber party, which I didn't even call that, was with Christina Luna.
Oh, we
another
love
shared
Christina.
love
Yes,
of ours.
yes.
Love
And
Fest.
she came, and Katie had never had her chart read.
Yeah, this is so
She's
funny.
an astrologer.
I know where this story is going.
And so this was December of 2023, 2024. And I knew we'd be doing the sabbatical. All of these things. And so I gave her Katie's stuff, and she shared Katie's chart amongst the two of us. And she said, Katie is going to run something huge, but she won't start it. She's like, it won't be her idea, but she's going to like run it huge. And I remember thinking, I knew I was going to wind down Pitch Club in the next year. I remember thinking, I literally need to build something so I don't lose her.
Okay, I knew there was something. I knew there was something.
And I don't think I've ever actually shared that publicly.
Yeah. No, I knew there was something, a glimmer that happened that was very specific that led to this. I could feel it. And Christina Luna does astrology, and I don't know if she specifically does it for business always, but she did it for us as business leaders. I don't know if you've had that, but she told us that Anya is the example customer. So if Anya does, you know how you could spend millions of dollars on the research of the market, but if Anya is like,
just ask me.
She feels into it, and she's a sacral decision maker from human design. So she just embodies it and knows it in her body. And so pretty much we're like, these 3 options of colors. And she's like, I would pick that one. And then we don't go and do $1 million of research.
No.
I mean, we do our market studies. We do those things
You're
as
doing
well.
clinical research. Yes.
And that always lines up.
Right.
And someone that really inspired us with intuition as well, she said that she was in corporate and she would be in meetings where there was 10 people that had to make a decision. They would take a 3-hour journey to do so. And afterwards she'd go up and ask everyone, before we started this 3 hours, what was your choice anyways?
Right.
And everyone said, I already knew.
Yeah.
And so she started doing what I had done with all my teams for the last 20 years. Is I was like, everyone, let's close our eyes and just, do you get a pull or a push? And we'd open our eyes and everyone pull. Okay, we're gonna do that. I felt forward. I felt expansive. So I think it's just really interesting how intuition comes into all of this. And Christina Luna telling us that changed our whole business. Did she ever do anything like that for you?
Oh, yes. I mean, so I worked with Christina for 2 years monthly,
Okay.
where I had like multiple calls a month. And so I did kind of friendship sessions, like Valley. I did ones with my husband. I did my kids. I mean, I did some definite healing in my maternal relationship. And no, I love it.
She brought you two together. And that, I mean, that's
deeper.
Part of it.
Even when Katie had started, like a year into Katie working, I don't even know if I shared this. I mean, I think I had a team of 7 at the time. And I remember thinking there are people that technically have more experience in what I was doing at the time. But Katie is so immaculate she's got she's at Enneagram 7, but she has a lot of 1. The way that she delivers things, like she's impeccable with her word, her timing. I used to joke, the way she runs the agency, I actually don't want her to see the way that we run the rest of the business, because the agency is like so dialed in on ClickUp, all the things. It's pristine. And so I knew I needed someone that
love a good
could rein me in.
Well, but on the flip side,
but not make me feel bad ever. She never uses guilt.
No guilt tripping.
No.
But on the flip side, kind of going back to what you were just saying, I can carry something. I can do the momentum. I can run with something. I can put things into motion. However, the spark and the vision is not as much of my forte. And so I think that that's really where we come together well, because Rebecca is this incredible visionary. She sees opportunity, she sees white space, and she's able to create something from it. Whether it's PitchWell or even the way that the Pitch Club came together, there's always something kind of churning in your brilliant brain.
Thank you.
And so she's the visionary, and then I just put vision into motion. So she makes it very easy to build things out. And so those complementary skills are helpful. And having a co-founder, going back to what we were talking about, solo or with somebody else, you get to have a soundboard. And so I come to Rebecca all the time, even on the agency side. Maybe she's not in the weeds as I am. However, when we're doing the strategy components of the campaigns that we do for our clients, I always turn to Rebecca. And even if I'm the one who's executing on a lot of the actual,
or if there's a difficult client, I'm like, this is not worth it. Fire them energetically. Like, it's not worth the investment. No.
It's nice to have that litmus test. And it's like, when both of you get the same feeling and you both have that knowing, I call it different facets of the same wisdom gem.
Totally.
Right? It rounds it out.
Yes.
And that's one of our big interests is intuition.
Yes.
Do you use intuition in what you do? And do you ever get, the title of the podcast is Everyday Magic. Has it resulted in everyday magic for you?
Absolutely. I mean, in the end,
I'm bringing her more into the woo.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like undercover woo. I'm not like
What
very
does that
outwardly.
mean?
I don't think that I give a lot of outward woo energy at all, but I'm getting pulled into it more and more with Rebecca.
You can't not. I mean,
Yes,
it's
of course.
osmosis.
Yes, it's osmosis. Absolutely. But I also think that there's things, I'm a lot more, I'm a quiet human in that regard. Like I think that the rituals and the things that I have that carry me through my days, I'm just still very private about that. Rebecca's getting me into the limelight. She's like, you got a podcast. Yeah, because like, that's what I do, right? I'm getting everybody else on a
she
podcast.
said, don't ever make me speak. And I said, oh.
Well, now we're going to go right down that path.
Yeah. The last weekend at the Pitch Club, which she did all the back end and was like the most organized, like smoothest event ever. I was like, wait, you should have been doing this much earlier. I said, oh, okay. So tomorrow, I think I told you like 2 days before.
The day before.
The day before, I was like, so I've decided tomorrow, instead of me doing a keynote, we're going to be doing a fireside chat. It's going to be you and me on stage for 30 minutes. She's like, what? And of course,
throw you into the fire.
Because, I was, starting the mastermind. And what I wanted people to understand is I realized it was a disservice to everyone when they didn't understand the value of Katie until after they were working with her. And so I said, I want to put you on stage because they need to understand they're going to be working intimately with you on their PR. And the only way to show that is to actually have you speak and them to see the brilliance. And then like so many people in the room were like, Katie's amazing. She's brilliant.
Amazing.
So, the other thing, and I mean this in a way that there is zero condescension. So Katie, I always say like, she is young enough to be my daughter. I mean, that's ridiculous. But
biologically, however.
I grew up in a town that had a 20% pregnancy rate by graduation. So you absolutely are. But I look back and I did have some mentors in my 20s, but I went into corporate and it was a very, very lonely journey. And the few people that cheerleaded me during that time, because I did very well, and there were a lot of women that were very cutthroat. And I went home crying many times.
We've all
in my
experienced
20s.
that.
Yes. And, when I met her and I was telling my friend we're staying with, we've been friends for 25 years. And I was like, wait till you meet Katie. But I met her and I was like, God, what I would have given to had a woman that would have like cheerleaded me and invested in my growth.
Champion.
Yes. And I think there is like also like a healing of myself in the opportunity
Absolutely. I'm doing that with my chief creative officer, Erica, who's been working with me for years. She could biologically be my daughter as well. And there's so much value in those different perspectives and skill sets. And she's a digital native in a way I'm not. And so I completely understand this. And she had just left corporate after 7 years after being raked over the coals and doing a stellar job. And I had the same thing happen to me in leaving corporate at her age, the same thing. And then she saw me speak when I launched my book, The Power of the Divine Feminine in Business. She was in the audience. And then 3 times we ran into each other in the gym locker until I finally said, there's a reason we're running into each other. Can I ask the angels? And I downloaded, I'm like, I don't even know if you have a job, but I'm getting for you to work for me half-time where you do my social media, you run my events, and you run my calendar. She's like, I actually do exactly all 3 of those things.
Wow.
And she's been working with me for almost 2 years now.
Wow.
So, but that's the synchronicities that led to us working together. So back to the intuition question, you started to say that you use it a lot more and you've been pulling her into that.
Yes.
Are you using it in business? Like so
100%.
curious.
Yes.
No, and it's interesting because obviously PitchWell is a SaaS product. However, there is an
I don't know what that means.
Oh, sorry. Software as a subscription.
As a service.
As a service. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yep, as a service. Sorry.
It's also a subscription.
But so, and that's what like a Canva, I mean, all of these things.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
But from the very beginning, I was like, community is everything. And I'm like, we're building something that yes, is scalable and yes, is powerful. And like, how do we still ensure that there is a community aspect? And also though, what is the energy? I think we were a month in, I was like, this is getting really excited. We're wireframing, but like, let's not forget, like, what is the soul of this? What
Especially
is the soul
in tech,
that is like the guiding light? Exactly. That we can make decisions from. And so, democratizing access to visibility. And I said, we also need to have a give back. Because yes, we're, obviously we want to make money in this and do good. And so we launched something called Pitch for Good, where nonprofits and veterans have free access to it.
So the soul part, and you liken the soul being intuitive.
Absolutely. And I used to use a lot of tools to tap in. Like, I mean, I still have them, breath work and, different things. But utilizing those tools helped me tune in to how to just call on my intuition and be able to get the answers. And
got access with the tools, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then I've learned that every single time I didn't listen to my intuition, it went, the universe taught me the lesson of not listening.
As it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can listen and have a more direct path that's less painful, although it may be hard or maybe harder.
Mhm.
It feels like worthy hard.
Yes.
Right. I get it.
Mhm.
And there's times that Katie will say like, and I also will sometimes overcomplicate things. So she helps me keep it simple. But it is really good because we're able to challenge each other with respect.
Yeah.
My husband does the same
Yeah.
thing. And I think it is good to be challenged to be like, actually, this is intuitive. And maybe we can make it simpler.
Interesting. So I have a feeling, Katie, that when she starts talking and it's complex, you have a feeling that starts to go, this doesn't feel right.
We're going too far down the rabbit hole.
What is that feeling? How do you start to know that? What shows up literally in your body? I'm curious.
It's a really interesting question. I mean, physically, I think that it's mostly like I feel it actually like right under my chest.
What does it feel like?
It's almost like a little bit of like a
Tightness,
a tightening, right?
And
like
your
I feel
shoulders
like I
start
can
to come
almost,
forward.
It's almost like I'm getting pulled into the movement of like, okay, if things are starting to snowball, I almost like feel like my body is like trying to snowball with it. And I think that causes the pushback because then my body is saying, no.
The signal.
Yeah, we need to actually not move forward with this movement.
That's your intuition.
And I can tell because I can tell in her response. I can tell in the tone. I'm like, oh, she's getting anxious or overwhelmed, and I am making it too complicated.
So your intuition is reading her intuition. I love this.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for decades, working with hundreds of leaders, and I love it. It's been dozens of countries because as a social science PhD, I can see the cross-cultural differences, which means it's a human thing.
Yeah.
What I've noticed universally is when people are tuning into their intuition and getting a yes, their spine straightens and their shoulders go back. So if anyone's like, is there a universal? Because some people get goosebumps, some people have a dream, some people get a hot foot, Right. But the universal is the spine. And I feel like the spine is like an antenna. And when I think of animals, they all have these straight spines. And so when the spine starts to it starts to weaken and go limp, your intuition is saying, there's no energy here. You're leaving the path of nourishing energy available to you for this project.
Well, it's like you don't see aligned, fulfilled people that are
they're crumped over.
And I think to your point, the flip also happens because of all the ideas that you have. I can tell when something truly lights you up. And I'm like, okay, this is what we actually need to pursue, right? Because we can bounce a lot of ideas off of each other and they're all really brilliant, but we have to decide what we actually want to pursue. And so the ones that you're very, very, very seriously interested in, you can see it physically in your body. Even if we're not together physically, if we're like on Zoom, you can still kind of get that sensation.
She's living in Spain and I live in Italy.
Yeah.
So
and we love, which is also fun.
We're now on the right time zone together.
Finally.
The rest of the world. But, and actually I was going to say something when you were talking about like energy and body language across countries. Language has always been my superpower.
Really? You can speak multiple languages?
No. I would say more of like
words.
Whether it's the ability to write, to speak, to speak to someone, and using obviously words and emotion. And I was a Lincoln Douglas debate champion. Moving to Italy where I didn't speak the language.
Wait a minute. What are you?
So that was in high school. Lincoln Douglas is like a type of debate.
Okay.
Like if you ever heard of like forensic debate.
Right.
So I love debate in high school too.
So
wow.
That has always been, whether it's, debating in a professional setting or against a
I'd love to see you two debate one time.
I know.
Okay, let's think of a topic for them to debate while they keep talking.
The ironic thing is, Lincoln Douglas, it's like I was debating anarchy versus oppressive government. There is no right answer to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're really just in it for the
problem is I have a feeling you guys would be on the same side often.
Yeah,
totally.
You have to debate the
But
flip.
I think that's why, we don't have to go into debate, but intellectual conversation is also about like the exchange of ideas and understanding.
And it's all
beyond the black and white.
The strength and weaknesses of not only the opponent or the opposing side, but also of your own stance, which is really needed in our world right now.
And there's like the complementary nature of the co-founders. We actually come at things quite differently often, right? We come from very different lenses. And it's great. I call it going for the gold when those two opposites don't oppose and become who's right or wrong. It's how do we blend them into a third thing? Yeah. Love all of that.
But what I've noticed in living in a country where my language is still rudimentary, I've been taking Italian every day for the last 6 months, though, is I went, I didn't come here to learn the language. I mean, yes, I did, so I can get citizenship, but I came here to understand I already spoke the language of energy and I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on my actual words instead of realizing that intuitively and energetically, I was like, I met a friend that speaks no English and my Italian is basic. And I'm able to completely understand the complexity of what she's communicating, not through her words,
Yes, absolutely.
but through her energy.
Absolutely. I've had that with other languages.
Yes, and it was an unlock.
Yeah.
And how is the experience of founding and being in Italy at the same time? Like, how is that?
So
You've been in Spain for a long time.
Yeah.
We should also note that it seemed to me that you were moving to Italy while you were launching PitchWell.
Yes. So I'll go
It
back
was
to
all
that.
happening.
So how PitchWell, how the space was created.
Could you even explain for people what is PitchWell?
Sure. So PitchWell is the Canva of PR. So it is a online, just like you go and you log into Canva, and you used to need a designer to do these things for you to create, a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint.
I still need one. I go into Canva and I'm lost.
I am head over heels in love with Canva.
Yes.
Great.
We are in a
right.
I'm
like
each other out.
This is actually a perfect example, because so PitchWell helps someone to, without having to hire a PR agency, to have the media contacts to do the pitching. Now, some people are going to be like, I get it. I love it. They're probably already pretty clear on what is my messaging, what is my goal. And now what we're releasing, our new feature, will help people that aren't clear to get clear so they can use the platform more effectively. And then there are other people that are like, this is cool, and I still don't want to do it. And that's okay. And we still have our agency side
for that reason.
And I'm sure that will continue to evolve also. But yeah, for about $100, $97 a month, or for our annual users, it breaks down to, I think, $62 a month. They can own their visibility. They can own their strategy. And the other thing is they own the results, and the results aren't tied to paying a retainer. Right.
Yeah.
So, and even with our agency clients, like our agency is so different. Not only that it's very growth focused. So because I've been a business strategist with CPG companies, with tech companies, I can look at, well, what is your end goal? Because it's going to be a different path if it's raising money versus if it's like, oh, we want product adoption, or, there's all of these different goals, and the visibility strategy needs to be customized for the goal. So where was I going with that? Back to, you'd asked about Sicily. So I had, for the last 5 years before, I had the Pitch Club, and it was a women's coaching platform, we'll call it. I had masterminds, events, like live events, mini events, group coaching. I did a little bit of one-to-one with, some higher end founders, and then the agency side, and a publishing house that we don't really talk about, but we helped over 110 women become best-selling authors. I loved it. And I knew, like, I typically get it's a 4 or 5 years, usually at 4 years, I start feeling the itch of, this needs to either greatly evolve or it needs to change. It's just like my cycle. And I could feel the time with the Pitch Club was coming to an end. Not the desire to help women be visible, and not the desire for community, but just what it energetically took to run that type of business with so many parts and pieces.
Yeah.
As my kids were getting older. And when my husband sold a startup in 2021, I knew once he was done with his 4-year commitment that we wanted to move to Italy. He's a dual citizen. I was like, I want to move there. I want the whole family to have citizenship. I want the kids to be connected with their heritage. And the deal, the agreement was, he was not going to work. I'm like, you can take projects, but do not start another startup for at least the year we're there. And I was going to wind everything down. The only thing I was going to keep was the agency, because Katie was running it. And so I'm literally shutting everything down. I'm just finishing my mastermind. The group program's done. I wasn't doing a live event. And what happened is I had a lot of space. And I was like, we still have so much intellectual property of the way that we do things at the Pitch Club, at the agency, is so different. And I'm like, I hate for this information to die. Right? Like, my entire point was to not gatekeep this, but also courses are kind of not in vogue anymore. And I was like, I can't just see like selling an old course. And the media landscape is greatly changing with AI. So it was like a week before the Shio Slumber party, coming full circle, that you went to. I was in the car for like 6 hours on a drive by myself. And I was like, I was just talking to ChatGPT. And I've always found, AI, I'm like, yes, we need to be careful of it. It should never replace our human voice, our human creative, but it's an amazing ideation partner. It's amazing, like, reflector.
And if you keep your intuition intact, you can tell whether that idea feels right or not. Are you getting the depth, or are you getting the expansiveness?
Exactly. Yes. I'm like, ChatGPT, don't give me 3 more. Now I'm moving to Claude, because
everyone's breaking up and going to Claude.
Exactly.
He's breaking up with ChatGPT.
Yeah, sorry, they made some decisions.
They got to come up with a new name for their AI.
Yes. Yeah. So this idea came through, and I said, I want to not just like do a custom GPT. I want to create something that takes all of this information that someone doesn't know needed a course that creates a tool, but that removes the tension. Because still the tension, if someone learned how to DIY PR, is like, you need your Google Calendar, you need your Gmail, you need a CRM, you need to like find the contacts, which is the hardest part. You still need to learn how to pitch, even if you have templates. It still is very time intensive, and it's like number 25 on a founder's list to do,
Right.
because of the complication. So the idea came through, and literally in 24 hours, I went from like starting to talk about it to a full business plan. And before I told Katie, I vetted it by 3 people who I knew were going to give me very honest, critical feedback. Alexa, who is actually our first advisor, who's a friend of mine that has a
I met Alexa at your event.
She's amazing.
She sat and witnessed the channeling.
Yes.
Sitting
that's
with us
right.
at the table.
I mean, incredibly successful business owner, brilliant. My attorney, Lisa Liu, who is
also our attorney.
one of the top Silicon Valley
I'm
startup
telling
attorneys.
you, everyone, I have a
awesome.
whole,
including Ashley. We know.
Yes,
Yeah. So Lisa, our mutual attorney, and my husband, and all 3 of them were like,
this is brilliant. And I talked to Katie, and I talked to Gino, so this is now May. And I said, we are planning to go in January of 2026 into our sabbatical. My concern is if I start building this and build hard for 6 months, this is the worst time to then move out of the country. The worst.
We're paying close attention for a reason.
Okay. I said it is the worst time. And there was really 2 things. And so he said, well, what if we went fast? Or what if we went sooner? Because if you're still building and you're in beta, like you're not locking into like, this is the way I'm building PitchWell. This is my schedule. This is all the things. And so this was like June. We were already taking a month to travel Europe in July with our kids. And he's like, what do you think? Let's
remember that pivot happening. I was like, wait, they're not just going to visit, they're going.
No, like we were there in July and we came back, and in 2 weeks, our kids were starting school in literally 2 weeks. I enrolled the kids in school, started a homeschool, pulled them out, found a place in Sicily, which I'd never been to before we moved. And we left 2 weeks beforehand. Like in 2 weeks, turned our entire trip around.
And how has it been?
Yeah. The most beautiful and hardest thing I've ever done. The other thing I was going to say,
is it the beautiful kind of hard or the gross kind of hard?
No, it's the beautiful kind of hard.
Everything. Living abroad is all of those.
It's all of those. That I want Katie to talk about her living abroad experience, because I also like seeing real time, like not the glamorous, but the real, right? The human, the beautiful. But there were 2 things. So one was what the reason that we wanted to do this, and the 3 intentions that we had set. I was like the 3, literally, if you say a triangle tattoo, like the power of 3. And the second was knowing it was gonna be hard. So the 3 things we wanted to get out of the day was unbelievable family time together, because you really become such a tight unit. Number 2 was almost learning the language. And number 3 was developing grit. It was like, especially to our kids, growing up with means and opportunities and, parents and fun work. And so the other side is I was like, it is hard about it. It is hard. Maybe as much as in all the alignment, all the intuition, there are still challenging things where you're going to do things you're not comfortable with. Not unethically comfortable, but just like asking for things. Yes.
In all the ways. Yeah.
And
we use intuition, it got harder. But a great
yes, you're developing new muscles, right? And the second is moving to a foreign country with small children that you're going to put in a public school, which we did to learn the language, and navigating all of that is hard. And I remember thinking, if I'm going to do something hard, but just starting a startup, then I should be doing it when I'm already doing something hard, because my ability to grow that muscle is going to be so much greater. And I joke, I'm like, PitchWell is not the hardest thing I'm doing right now at all. It's figuring out when we're coming back. So I'll turn it over to Katie, because
and you went and did a Fulbright and on stage.
Yeah. So not quite as fast of a turnaround. However, I was finishing up at Boston College doing undergrad there. I studied international relations and economics. And so, the diplomacy path was sort of in my cards. It felt like the most natural transition. I wanted to be abroad. I wanted to get out of the US. And I felt like right out of college was the time to do it. So I applied during COVID, actually. I was home at my parents' house in California with nothing to do, stuck inside. And I was like, well, I'm going to apply for a Fulbright scholarship. It's a year-long process. It's interviews, it's applications, it's all of these steps. And the likelihood of you getting was very slim. And so I wasn't banking on it, but I was very hopeful that that would be the path. And so in May, I was approaching graduation. I was working at the fintech in Boston, and I received a Fulbright scholarship. So I walked away from equity. I walked away from a wonderful job, and I moved to Spain, to a city that I did not even know existed. I had to Google it when Fulbright placed me there. Google. We always Google everything. Thank goodness it had some information on it. And I did. I got placed there, and it was one of those things. Within a few weeks of being there, I knew that I wanted to stay. I'm now engaged. This was before I met my now fiance. Thank you. But even within 2 or 3 weeks of being there, I knew that I wanted to stay because it was this energy that I was very attracted to. I was drawn towards the people that were there. There was a lot of young. There's a big Inditex, which is the parent company of Zara. If you guys are familiar with the brand Zara, it's actually from this city.
Okay.
And so it has a campus of about 3,500 employees right outside of the city. It's all designers, photographers, modelers. Yes, all these creatives that come from all over the world to work there. And so I just immediately felt drawn. Yes, on the coast in Spain. So got dropped into this place, and I fell in love with it. And then I met my now fiance, and then made these incredible friends and relationships. And it's the growth hard sometimes because you have to just really lean into things that maybe you would rather not lean into. You have to lean into your intuition, even in moments where you maybe don't want to.
And it's the only choice you have because there's nothing else.
Right. Yeah. There's no value system. You can't call anyone to help you.
Right. It's right. You got.
Yes. And so you have moments that are not dazzling, even though you're in a gorgeous place, you're in a beautiful culture. There are moments that are not fun and not beautiful.
But you also learn what's possible. You're like, wow, I did that thing. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. Now I know I'm capable.
Yeah. Well, this is really inspiring. And I think there's a couple of things that are worth mentioning at this point. So first of all, I think it's a good time to mention that we've gotten, you know this, but our community doesn't know this, that we are fully funded for Sofania. So it's really important with all things, literally signing the contracts yesterday for the production of all the projects. This is every possible. We have our, facility getting ready to, house and do our ads, etc. But we needed a PR agency, and we were like, who would that be? And so it's just been incredible that you said yes to us.
We're so excited. And we're kicking things off tomorrow for that.
Well, it's so perfect because look, I've done, apps with breath work and things. We've done a lot of CPG, both, especially in the wellness space. But what you are doing is so unique. And it's it brings all of the things that we're passionate about and experienced and together.
And you named some of the things. What was it that made you besides?
Well, I mean, one, and obviously, we really work with women, so that.
And are you specifically in the wellness space? I don't know that.
Oh, so I mean, our clients, it's in 2 different areas. I think.
Oh, good.
So,
where your niche?
Yeah, so we worked with early founders. We're raising on both. I mean, on both tech, so apps, and also on CPG. So CPG products. Because we done beauty. We had done beauty some, yeah. We done some beauty. A lot in the the CPG and the health space. So
plus vitamins,
both.
We're doing all of that.
Yeah, it's vitamin style as well as powders. We've worked with we've already worked with serums before, so I'm excited to dive back in. Yes, and I think something that I felt incredibly drawn towards as well is. It's fun because you guys have the founder stories and you have very different lived experiences, but you come together in this beautiful way. So we get to work with the founder stories, which is very, very fun. And we get to work with the product.
Yes, yeah.
And those are 2 very different types of PR. And I think that a lot of agencies we will do one or we will do the other, but we're not going to put those 2 together. I think that they just complement each other in a really beautiful way.
There's actually much more opportunity with founders with a product, and where we sometimes find that we aren't the best fit for people is either if it's a founder with a product, the founder doesn't want to be visible.
No.
Your story.
I trained Anya to be visible, and she trained me.
Or is the other is someone, not that, I mean, we do work with, some authors and things because at least they have a book, but but somebody that doesn't have a product.
So, got it.
Got it. And, and I mean, at least if they have events or they have coaching, but it is harder when there's not a physical thing. Because it's almost like a Venn diagram. And so normally you're okay, we have the product here, we have the founder here, and then they have the methodology. What is your methodology? Right? So you have these different components that we can get visibility for. With 2 founders, and you have amazing methodology because you have your purpose behind. It's not just the product is for this reason, but you're we have an energetic component, we have a physical component, and there's so many different
business.
Yeah, there's so many different angles.
Oh, good.
Publications, opportunities. It's actually And, as Enneagram 7s, we're like, we want all possibilities available at all time. And you are literally the juxtaposition of that.
So what makes me so, and we have to kind of start to wrap up, but what makes me so excited when you say this, just, I don't know if you know this because you're not you're not every agency, but everyone I've ever ran into at a party, when I say I do this, they're like, oh, we're in PR. Tell me a little bit about it. And I give them anything, their eyes glaze over or their spear. Like, that's too much. Like, I don't know what intuition, and like meeting you, we just started channeling right away. And then there's this excitement that there's all this complexity of,
yes,
so it makes me excited. I have to somehow explain, yes, I'm a scientist and I'm an intuitive. Like, I could spend an hour just trying to even introduce that talent.
right.
But you guys are like, got it, get it, because
He's just there's 19 different, there's like, let's say 7 different points, and each of them have 7 angles. There's unlimited. We're not going to pitch well and good all of those angles.
Yeah.
Not at one time. Exactly. So
one piece of information I'll wrap up our side with, and then I'd love to hear some closing things.
what's international thing?
Yeah. So maybe a month and a half ago, I was sitting and really going, like, what am I doing here in LA now that Anya's moved back to her place more in Sicily, not spending much time in actual West Hollywood together. And I'm like, I'm here for her and she's not here. What am I doing here? And it was getting...
I'm like, why am I out here in the suburbs away from everything? So it's my kids. Who are you?
Yes.
And then I get the phone call and Anya's like, let's explore moving to Lisbon.
It is more like,
Are the kids coming?
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like,
I mean,
because your friend, Patrice out there.
So, and I don't actually know. It's been one of those things, like things, someone asked me, I was sitting on an airplane and this woman was divorced and her kids are older. And I said, gosh, like if my kids were gone to college, I would move away. I'd move to Europe. And I got off the plane. That was the next morning I called you. And I got off the plane and I was like, but why am I waiting?
There's international schools there.
There are international schools.
Lisbon is lovely.
That'll be
systems and Sicily's good.
in Italy, Spain, Lisbon. We are actually flying there.
They're going there for spring break.
We're taking the kids.
Oh my gosh. I mean, actually, it's probably easier for us to get to Lisbon, each of us, than it is to get to each other.
So we might have a hub there. So this could be a wing.
It's still very much in the exploratory phase.
Make sure we get this April, yes. As the before there, had to know. And I've
never been there.
I've lived there.
My kids are open to the idea of going for a year and exploring. I've shown them the possibilities. My daughter's a freshman, so for her, the college path is important.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about
it. Actually makes more unique on the college resume because she can talk about
was a listener. So then we were like, shoot, we just got funded and we're leaving. Like, I got to start.
I'm watching a book and a band and a business.
We can talk about the book too.
You said all of it.
I will also just throw this out there because we're here for South by Southwest.
Yeah.
South by Southwest is having their second year in June in London. Another good spot.
I mean, I do think there is so much to the international. We aren't tied to our geography anymore.
Right. Because when you're rooted in other things, you don't necessarily have to be tied to a specific location.
Especially when we could meet at the Tipoli's pool set for our monthly in-person.
I am so pleased.
I'm on board.
Absolutely. That's an easy plug.
It's happy. It's fun to announce this to you, but there's a solid exploration.
That is very
And the only concerns are, can we do all of this? And you're a living example.
And I would like to invite you for one of those monthlies because Ortigia is the oldest sibling in Italy, and I think I told you this. But I am a 1-minute walk from the Temple of Athena.
We talked about getting together. Yes. Oh my God, Ashley, can you grab me that magazine that's on the table? When we sat down and talked about going to Italy together to be at a sacred site, we talked about Egypt. Yes. While I was walking into this room to see you, this was on a table out there. Queens of Egypt.
Oh.
When women all the world, I picked it up. I'm like, I need to grab this. I forgot we talked about Egypt.
Oh, we talked about Egypt and Sicily because Sicily, where we are was like, Ligure of Alexandria and Ortigia where Archimedes and Plato lived. And I have tickets in May to go to see a Greek play at the Greek Theater. It was built in 7th century BC where the plays were written for. Maybe just... Okay, we give this a whole nother podcast.
I know. Forever. And I will see you in Italy in December because for summer solstice, I'm holding a retreat. Italy. And it's in between Bologna and the Italian Riviera and Florence, like right in the future. and it's a beautiful place I fell in love with. But the only reason I'm going is because I actually have enough help with me because of Anna, who I met your retreat, who I hired a VA that took so much off my plate. I'm like, what can I do with this extra space? Italy retreat. And so they are actually going to be there in your region because of who I met through you. And we're going to get to hang out in Italy. Lindsay Hills full saw from the regain that we go to that same site together.
That is incredible.
Wow. Bellissimo. Right.
Yes.
So I'm so excited. So any last things you'd like to share about how we connect with you, find you, anything you'd like? I don't know, I spent before we
If anyone that's listening that has a purpose, a brand, a book, like anything they want visibility for, even a coaching business, go to www.gopitchwell.com and we should make a code for a week trial. Absolutely. Well, with a lot of listeners, we want to do a show notes for show notes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And you can get a week free trial and, play around with the platform. And, the other thing I'll say, and this is just advice to everyone listening, is don't wait until you feel ready for visibility. Don't wait until you feel ready for anything, because we never feel ready for something. Like, there is a reason being at the edge of something feels uncomfortable. Yes, portal.
absolutely.
And you become ready through the activation of taking the step.
And I need to speak to this because I'm probably the biggest newbie to PR. And I feel like if you are curious to go to PitchWell, because you do get that free, and even though free, it's very affordable and accessible. But as a new user to anything to PR, I actually got oriented to what it is by putting in my information, having AI write the pitch for me. I could pick, do I want this pitch for a podcast or an article? And I just was like, well, what happens if I do an article? Okay, here's all the people you could write. Yes. And here's a recent article they wrote, and I could see the style. I would say it's almost an orientation to PR.
Yes. It can dip their toes in the water. Yeah. And you have to understand CR to create unbelievable pitches that are going to get you seen.
And I think it's almost its own DIY course in PR. I just learned by doing. Is my favorite is for us to do. And I think PR is something incredible.
I was going to say too, you've been doing like our visible founder on Instagram. I've been watching you.
And I'm about to relaunch it because I did 2 weeks and I was like, okay, I'm building a visibility platform. And obviously I love visibility, but I also like sometimes being in the cave, right?
And what's your
Enneagram 7?
Right. Wait, your
my growth is in 5. So my growth is to actually get quiet, go in. And I've learned when I have the urge to do that, to get less visible, it's actually because I'm going to go build a solid gym and then I'm going to reemerge. But I said, okay, I'm building this, and also it's been a very noisy time, and it's energetically there's a lot. So I just committed. I was like, I'm gonna do 14 days where I'm gonna go in and spend 15 minutes a day, primarily in PitchWell. But I will say, PitchWell warms you up to be like, oh, well, where do I need to follow up on an email, and where do I, because
it sends you reminders to. I mean, and that you can honestly week that is
exactly. You can schedule it out, and so over those 14 days, I mean, literally. Some days it was 10 minutes, some days it was 20, but it was an average of 15 minutes a day. So we tell people 1 hour a week.
But you're putting intention to it.
Of course.
That was the huge things. Like now you've given yourself or, the client, you've given them a tool.
Yep. Yes.
But you have intentionally brought like, I'm going to, we sit down as founders and we've got a lot of things pulling our attention.
Exactly.
And to say every day, which I love, and I love watching your, Instagram about it, just saying like, by adding this level of intention that I'm going to pour into this part so that it's actually going to open up more opportunities.
Absolutely. And that's what happened. And so the numbers, the results that came in those 2 weeks, and this was with travel, this was not like I was sitting down every day.
Everyone has life. Life handles is life thing.
Exactly. Only some of it was done at an airport. I just have Wi-Fi on a flight. But 14 days, so average, it was less than 3 hours total. 27 visibility opportunities.
Amazing.
There was 2 articles that are coming out of this, like 5 or 6 podcast episodes, 3 or 4 speaking events or panels. I mean, mostly workshops, and then multiple like, hey, we're interested in talking to you about doing a session here, or just opportunities, because sometimes the opportunity isn't the actual visibility; it's actually the connection with someone, which we found. Yes, it could lead to a podcast or it could lead to a workshop, but often it leads to a referral that is even bigger.
Always.
Over 27 things in 3 hours. And those are wild results, which
I'm democratizing visibility.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I love you using it, right? I mean, that is.
We're users. We're our most expensive user. We can see on the back end. Yeah, we go the most pitches of all. And we are kind of now, like I said, we're not trying to get rid of agencies. We're trying to the democratizing access is. PR should not be something only available to businesses that can spend the $5,000 to $10,000 a month on their retainer. Okay, it should not. In fact, I really feel that there's a lot of small businesses that maybe they're at the $50,000 mark. They're never going to spend money on PR. However, PR, meaning showing credibility because they're getting some momentum in a publication, they're getting on podcasts, they're speaking on stages, can literally be the differentiator maker to help them scale. And I started seeing this years ago with some of our clients that, early stage startup. And I'm like, okay, let's go out and do some articles. Those logos help them to raise. Sure. I'm like, let's get you on and start a small stage in front of 60 people. And they're like, that stage was selling nothing, turned into 2 clients at 10,000, turned into 2 investors at 25,000 each, like turned into another opportunity. And now they're keynoting in front of 700 people. So like I saw how that worked.
I love PR as connection.
It's necessarily a connection. And impact. And this is the last thing I say is visibility is not about being performative. It's not about being egoic. It is like, I have something that I am committed to progressing, right? That I'm committed to bringing to the market or to people, whether that's thought leadership or that is a physical product, like what you're doing. And
both actually.
It's both. And it's both. She runs her fan. She's like, I can't wait to we're literally going to brunch tomorrow because I've been in her. But what that can do by having that visibility can be the difference between a company or a business or a person, like the idea surviving or not.
Absolutely. Thanks for what you do. We're so excited to work with you on all levels. The most daunting part of it all, even from these little conversations that I've had where people glaze over or look terrified, and it's become the most exciting part for me.
Oh yeah. Yes. Thank you for having us. This is wonderful. We get to see it all the time. I know. Oh, please. We will. We'll come. Oh yeah, husband. Twice a month. You have to see us. So recent
Fulbright, ladies. Let's do it.
Oh, I'm so down. Wow.
Oh, thanks. Great. Thank you so much.
We're so excited. Maybe 6 months from now, when we can share all of the beautiful visibility opportunities, we'll
absolutely regroup.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll come back.
Under the Lisbon sun. That's right. Or near the Temple of Athena.
Yeah. Yes. We could try to say.
Love that.
Or we might have to do some global meetups.
I am excited. We were so
Yes.
Thanks for being on the journey with us. We'd love to have you as part of the ongoing conversation. Join us on our socials at Sofania Beauty and join our email community at sofaniabeauty.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.